I'm Justin Burris. I think I've had the opportunity to meet several of you, which has been great. And my company, FlagShipSails, about a year and a half ago, partnered with, actually contracted with LifeLock to help build out their employee benefit distribution channel. With that, we thought a natural fit would be TPAs who are already administering benefits on behalf of employer groups. And one of the first TPAs that actually stepped up to the plate, one of the people I called and worked with Tom and Marsha for years, but called Tom Doney, and he's like, "This is awesome. Actually, I've had fraud happen to me numerous times." So with that commitment, I was very happy that Cypress decided to become a certified distribution partner, if you will. But really the partnership is extended beyond that because, where's Julie Zola? Okay, Julie, sitting right next to him. It's really become more of a partnership, and Julie and I have worked closely on this, and she's provided so much feedback that LifeLock is now implemented into their workflow and process, and we're really getting, I guess, tightening the screws, and things are working well, and the process is really turnkey and awesome. But today, I'd just like to, how many people have heard of LifeLock prior to seeing it on the agenda? Okay. Do we have any LifeLock members? We do. Okay. Awesome. So several of you are familiar with the process, but a lot of people are familiar with the brand LifeLock, and they hear identity theft protection, but they really have no idea what that is and how it works. So today, what I'd like to do is I'd like to provide a little product knowledge, really just an overview of how LifeLock works and what it really involves, instead of just the ID theft protection. Let me go to the next slide. Identity theft today, a lot of people don't realize this, but it's trending in the wrong direction. But it's in 2011, there were $18 billion worth of identity theft cost to Americans. And that's up a few billion from the previous year. In 2011, it was the #1 consumer complaint with the FTC. It's actually been the #1 complaint with the FTC for the last 6 years in a row. You see 11.6 million adults fell victim to identity theft last year. That's up 3.5 million from the previous year. So it's a trending problem. Really, as we move to an electronic world and all data is being transmitted electronically, essentially what that does is it creates more opportunities for these sophisticated hackers to get access to your breach corporations and get access to your information. Every other week, it seems like in the news, you hear of a major breach. In the past year, you had Sony PlayStation. I think it was 75 million potential credit card numbers were breached. Citibank had 3.5 million of their members' information breached. So it's out there in just common areas where you're using day-to-day transactions, just everyday life. You're putting your personal information at risk. Here's just a pie chart, really just kind of breaking down. When people think of identity theft or fraud, the first thing they tend to think of is credit card fraud. And as you can see, that only makes up 14% of the types of fraud that take place. You see 8% employment related, using your social security number to gain employment. A lot of illegal aliens are looking for social security numbers to utilize. Phone and utilities, loan fraud, and you see the government documents and benefits. That makes up 27%, has gone up 69% since 2009. Probably see it in the news, I guess during the tax return season, people are filing their tax returns and they're being notified by the IRS that we've already paid you for this return. So it's definitely trending in the wrong direction. And obviously medical, identity theft and scams, it's really a bigger problem than just credit card transactions that mysteriously appear on your credit card. With that, and as this partnership with LifeLock, they've like great brand recognition. You see the 30-second commercials. I have a 5-minute video here that they've created for the employee benefit space that really does a good job of just walking you through in 5 minutes what the product involves, the different levels of protection that they provide. And then after the video, I'll go into a little more detail on each level and answer any questions that anyone has. So there's your aggressive point.
Number at the doctor's office or bank? Do you use social media like Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn? Do you bank and or shop online? Do you ever pay with a check or debit card? Have you been affected by any of the publicized national data breaches in the past 18 months? If you answered yes to any of these, you need the industry-leading identity theft protection only LifeLock offers. In 2010, over 8 million Americans had their identity stolen. Are you and your family next? What about your employees? Your most sensitive information may be at risk more than ever before.
We live in a world where things get done in the blink of an eye, the click of a button, the swipe of a card. But these freedoms make your personal information vulnerable. How can you keep your information from being used against you? With a combination of industry-leading tools and award-winning service, the experts at LifeLock work around the clock to safeguard your personal information, alert you to potential threats, and protect you from identity theft before it happens. Here's how we do it. Stolen information is often used to apply for new credit accounts, utilities, payday loans, and more. Using patented fraud detection technology, LifeLock reviews these types of high-risk applications for the misuse of your personal information. Anytime a suspicious application is detected within our network, we flag it and alert you by email, postal mail, and/or phone, meaning you hear from us quickly and only when necessary. A lost or stolen wallet can leave you stranded as thieves go on shopping sprees. If your wallet goes missing, just call us, anytime, anywhere. We help you cancel or replace your credit and debit cards, driver's license, passport, traveler's checks, and more, so you can get back on your way. By placing a fraudulent change of address request, identity thieves can steal your mail and financial information. LifeLock monitors these requests, alerts you anytime a change of address is detected, and helps you restore accurate address information. LifeLock also patrols over 10,000 black market websites where criminals buy and sell identities, credit cards, and passwords. If your information is found, we notify you and help you resolve the problem fast. Not only are the dozen or so pre-approved credit offers you get every week annoying, they can also be used to open fraudulent accounts in your name. LifeLock requests you be removed from many of these mailing lists. At LifeLock, we take our commitment to our members seriously. That's why, as a LifeLock member, if you become a victim of identity theft because of a failure in LifeLock service, we will spend up to $1 million to hire experts, lawyers, investigators, consultants, and whatever else it takes to help your recovery. And because identity thieves don't keep banker's hours, neither do we. Day or night, 365 days a year. If you need assistance, a live member services representative is always just a call or click away. For those who want expanded monitoring and personalized identity reports, LifeLock Command Center provides an enhanced level of security with 2 additional services. Is a sex offender moving in down the street? Has a criminal ever provided your name as an alias during arrest? LifeLock scans public databases nationwide for your personal information and alerts you anytime it appears in payday loan records, court records, alias records, sex offender registries, and others, providing you a more complete view of your identity health. Peer-to-peer file sharing networks allow users to share pictures and music, but they can also provide criminals access to private files stored on other computers. Even if you don't use these networks, your doctor or bank may. LifeLock actively monitors these networks for leaks of your information. If we find your data has been compromised, we'll alert you and provide guidance to help close the breach. LifeLock just introduced a new product called LifeLock Ultimate, which is LifeLock's most comprehensive service to date, offering uniquely proactive protection. Expanded alerts now tell you when LifeLock identifies identity thieves are using your identity to open or apply for new checking or savings accounts within the LifeLock network. And LifeLock Ultimate also helps reduce the risk that a thief can take your hard-earned money by sending alerts when they detect someone changes your account contact information or adds new account holders. LifeLock Ultimate members receive annual credit reports and monthly score and have 24/7 priority status when contacting LifeLock and get to the front of the line every time. Unmatched service, comprehensive protection, unparalleled peace of mind. Become a LifeLock member today.
Just really shows you that over the last 6 years, LifeLock is a relatively new company, but as identity theft has become a growing problem, obviously their membership has grown tremendously. This is November, they had 2 million members. Since then, they've added another 500,000, so we're at 2.5 million members, and we're starting to see a lot of traction, obviously, as an employee benefit space. LifeLock goes through a pretty intense, as you can imagine, pretty intense data security certifications. Really, they kind of set this. They really set the standard for identity theft protection. So they're not required by anyone to go through these certification processes, but they do on their own accord just to prove that they are genuinely looking out for your information. The ISO certified on the side, that's one of the highest international data security certifications that you can get. And they have outside auditors come in regularly, making sure that they're following through with the certification and adhering to all the guidelines. I guess, how does it pertain to business, and why does this make sense to offer it as an employee benefit? When you think about it, an employer is an employee's financial, that's everything. That's where they make their money, that's their benefits, retirement accounts. So it makes sense to offer the opportunity to participate in something that protects all of your financial well-being. So the average identity theft life cycle is between 57 and 155 days. So once your information has been hacked by someone, they're running with it for 57 to 155 days doing damage before it's usually brought to your attention. We've already said it's the #1 consumer complaint. The average resolution time rose 57%. The more damage done, more time it takes to resolve it. And actually doing that all in your own time during business hours, your employees are going to miss some work. You see the time it takes. Collectively, victims of identity theft spend an average of 267 million hours resolving problems. A lot of the difference between when you hear LifeLock or you hear credit monitoring, which is a part of a lot of credit card services, all that is notifying you once something's hit your credit report. So the fraudulent activity is already occurred. And Julie, what's the difference? What's LifeLock do? What's the difference between LifeLock and credit monitoring? The proactive. She says proactive all the time. They're proactive identity theft protection. So they're actively monitoring your information on the front end to greatly reduce the likelihood that you would become a victim of identity theft. Whereas a lot of these other credit monitoring and alert systems are notifying you after the fact. And hey, just so you know, $5,000 in debt a credit card debt that hit your report, you're not responsible for it. Now you have to go clean it up. So LifeLock would actually, like I said, greatly reduce the likelihood that that'll happen. And then if it does in fact happen, they'll actually handle all the remediation on your behalf. LifeLock actually spent a lot of time engaging employer groups to try to find out if this actually makes sense. Is this something that employers want to offer? And the response has been great. One, they were fielding a lot of calls from employer groups asking if there was a way to make this an employee benefit. So that's why they reached out to us, because they weren't set up to administer. They're great at direct-to-consumer. Hey, go to our website, fill out a credit card. So we really need the help of Cypress and administrators to actually fill in the gap. There are tons of resources been created. I'm kind of talking to two. So we have brokers and we have employer groups, and the amount of resources that have been generated that are at your disposal for the enrollment process and to share with your employees and share with your employer group clients is pretty extensive. So after this presentation, if you'd like to learn more, contact your closest. I think it's Justin, Julie, Greg, we got Holly, and who am I missing here? Oh, Drew. Oh yeah, you're here. Contact them, and they have tons of resources that we can walk through in a little more detail. Back to the actual service. So there were 3 levels of participation. She did a pretty good job in the commercial there, kind of walking through everything. So I'll just hit on everything real quickly again. But the identity threat detection and alerts, that's notifying you if someone's using your information to access a new line of credit. So if someone's trying to purchase a car, finance a home, or applying for an actual credit card, you should receive a notification. Now, in some cases, it could be you that's actually applying for that, and you're still going to get a notification. They just want to make sure that it is, in fact, you. Lost wallet protection. After you become a member, you receive a welcome email, which will instruct you to go to the web portal, create a username, login, but actually go in and fill in some additional information that isn't captured during enrollment. And that would be your credit card numbers and all your personal information that you carry on you at all times. So your passport, your your credit cards, debit cards, your driver's license number. Ask for all this information. That way, in the event that you lose your wallet or purse, it's one call to LifeLock, and they'll help walk you through the process of getting a hold on those credit cards, getting them replaced, and as to her point, get you back on your way. The address change verification is very common practice. People will put a change of address form in on your behalf, have your mail rerouted to another location. A lot of personal information is transmitted after a couple weeks in mail. So they make sure that it is in fact you that requested that change. The advanced internet monitoring, LifeLock utilizes the same software that the FBI utilizes to monitor over 10,000 known criminal websites to see if your information is being traded or used in any fraudulent manner. Reduce pre-approved credit card offers. Obviously, it's pretty easy. If you have a pre-approved credit card, if someone got in your mailbox, you're already pre-approved for credit. So they essentially just need to fill that out and they're on their way. But so that's one thing, the first thing you notice as a LifeLock member is you stop getting all the junk mail, the pre-approved credit card offers. And obviously that comes with the $1 million total service guarantee. So I think the highest identity theft victim to date, I guess on record, is $970,000 in fraudulent activity, and it was a lady in Florida. These guys were using her information to finance and flip homes, and then when the economy tanked, she was brought to her attention that she was stuck with $970,000 worth of mortgages on these houses. So LifeLock said, well, if she was a LifeLock member, $1 million would have covered that. So that's where that number came from. And obviously, great customer service. Actually, they win awards every year, and it's available 24/7, 365. Child identity theft protection. A lot of people were wondering or thinking, why do I need to protect my child? And child's information, since no one is monitoring it, you have no idea if someone is using it in a fraudulent manner. What happens is these children's Social Security numbers are being targeted just for that very reason, that no one's actively monitoring it. When they get a little older, they go away to college and they're wanting to get an apartment, or they do get their first credit card, and they essentially shouldn't have a credit report. They run their credit report and they find they have $10,000 to $15,000 in debt, fraudulent debt. I think Holly had a story, happened to a friend of yours, I believe, and you shared that story with us. So that's why it makes sense to protect your children's information as well. And then Command Center. You get everything we just talked about in basic, the data breach detection with all the peer-to-peer file sharing networks. Napster was the one that really put them on the map, whereas you go out there and share your data with other people, and you also can access their information. Public database monitoring. So everything you get in Command Center, a lot of this is, once you get to the public database monitoring, is information that's, you can seek it out. I mean, it's free, you don't have to pay for it, you can go get it, but how often are you actually looking at these public reports? The payday loan records, public records, the sex offender registry. So I live in downtown St. Louis, and 6 months ago, I received a surprising email, and it said a registered sex offender moved into your neighborhood. Okay, that's not a pleasant email to get. The second surprising part of that email is that I didn't know Tom Doney moved to St. Louis. So anyway, it was a shocker. But anyway, yeah. Just want to leave my mark before I left. But so anyway, in all seriousness, though, I did receive that email. Tom's name was not on there. But I'm single. I don't have any children. But if I did have children, that's information that I would like to have sent to me and be aware of. But again, you're not actively seeking out the sex offender registry. Or some of you are, I don't know, but some of you may be. But I'm assuming you're not actively looking at all these public records. So what's nice about LifeLock is it's all that information. If your name appears in any of this, or you get the, sex offender registry is sent to you, but if your name appears in any public database, they're notifying you as well. So that's just a nice feature. And then the most up-to-date Ultimates, and so you get everything LifeLock Basic, Command Center. Now they'll monitor your checking and savings accounts as well to make sure that maybe a new user or someone, a new name is added to the account isn't happening. That your numbers aren't showing up in new areas, they're being accessed or utilized in a fraudulent manner. You get the credit alerts with the actual credit, the 3 credit bureaus. You get an annual credit report and a monthly updated credit score through TransUnion. And so that's it. So you have the monitoring, the scanning. It's the full circle, the proactive identity theft solution. And the best part about the employee benefit offering is it's actually discounted 15% off retail. So it's the cheapest price available. If you were to go online today and you go to LifeLock, it runs at $10 a month for the basic. So as you can see, here's an employee benefit. It's at $8.50. Obviously, there's all the price points. Every price is discounted 15% as employee benefit. And again, it's being offered as a voluntary benefit. So as an employer, really there's no cost to you. It's just it's an option for your employees. And I think that's it.
Thank you.
Thanks.